I've been debating whether I wanted to wait another 11 minutes or not, and I decided to go for it. I just finished writing the blurb at 9:42, so it's not even been quite 2 minutes, I don't think, yet, since I finished the blurb. Anyway, good evening, and good morning, good afternoon, depending on whatever time it is with you. Again, with me, it's 9:44 p.m. The title that I've chosen for this video is December 3rd is about over and 3D is still here. Well, I guess the Andromedans lied to Alex Collier about the date, which is par for the course whenever anyone gives a date for the big change to happen. He had predicted that 3D would end today, and we would be in our light bodies now. My light body is amazingly solid with no discernible changes. Does that mean I'm a total skeptic, no longer believing there is going to be a shift that changes everything? And I keep seeing things that I typed wrong. Absolutely not. That big change is inevitable. When it happens, it will either be at a time no one expected, or it will take place gradually without a lot of bells and whistles. To some people, it may not be evident at all, but it will happen. The current world system is simply unsustainable. I was talking with a friend earlier today who made the comment that so many of my videos are about politics, not about spiritual things. And once again, let me remind you all, for those of you that don't yet get it, for me, nothing is more spiritual than politics. Politics is simply the social interaction in a culture or a society. It always involves politics. I've been involved in churches through the years of my life, and every single one of them, though they're supposed to be religious or spiritual organizations, every single one of them gets involved in politics. Every business that I've ever been involved in, every job that I've ever had, there's always politics. Politics is simply the interaction of people. And as I said, the world system that we have is unsustainable from a spiritual perspective, from a natural perspective, from an ecological perspective, from a human perspective, and yeah, from a divine perspective too. It can't go on like this without self-destructing. I mean, you still have people that are insane that have been allowed to have power and dominate other people. And this is against natural law. It's against reason. It's against life itself. And it has to change. There has to be a big change. You cannot continue to have a world operated by insane people and have anything positive, any positive change occur. I mean, Obama tried to bring us change that we could believe in. That was his line that he was given by his handlers in the old corrupt beast system, the Matrix, and obviously he failed. I don't care what the reason is. I don't care what the threats were. He was not able to pull it off. And no one has been able to pull it off yet, to wrest control of the world away from these people who are so caught up in their lust for power, their need for control, their greed in wanting to own everything and take everything away from people. I mean, do you understand, folks? Do you understand that we humans, by our inherent right, our birthright, all of the wealth, all of the value of the planet is ours? And do you realize that we have been conned by the ruling class to believe that we were powerless, that we were valueless, that we were totally lacking in what it needs to even survive, so that our very survival is threatened in the current system. People's homes are being taken, their food is being poisoned, the water is being poisoned, the earth is being poisoned, the air is being poisoned, the medicines are poisoned. They literally do things that are destructive because of the false monetary system. That's spiritual, folks. That's not just political, as if political and spiritual are two camps that can never mix. On the contrary, they are so interrelated. Everything is interrelated. Everything is connected to everything else. And it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible for this to go on. This separation, that's the lie. That's the illusion. That's where we are. That's where we have been brainwashed to think that something can be separated from something else, when it simply cannot happen. It cannot continue that we live this lie. Too many people get it. Too many people are awake and aware. Nobody fully. I'm not fully awake and fully aware of everything that's going to happen. I've often admitted that I don't know. I mean, I really believed in 2011 that by the end of that year, the United States government as a corporation would be defunct, and that there would be a republic in its place. I really believed that. I felt it, and I felt, okay, well, it didn't happen this year. It's going to happen in 2012. It didn't happen in 2012. Well, I felt it's going to happen in 2013. It may not happen in 2013. Some people say it's going to be 2017. Some people say it's going to be 2014. There are still people that say it's going to happen in December 2013 by the winter solstice or by Christmas. We're going to have a Christmas present. We're going to have a new world. I'd like to believe that. I really want to be in that new world. I've lived my whole life and had that vision my entire life, to have a kingdom, that a city that has foundation, whose builder and maker is God, a nation, a one world nation that works for everybody. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be any little nations in that one nation, but I like what Mr. Sino has created. It's God, sky, earth, the kingdom of God, sky, earth, where the earth and the sky are connected, and the spiritual and the physical are connected. I'm not looking for the absence of 3D. I'm looking for the transformation of 3D, so that our physical bodies, yeah, they can be made healthy. They can be transformed and transmuted. But by the same token, they're still physical. They're still corporal. They still have blood flowing through the veins, and they're still muscle and bone and tissue. They're still organs. There's still life as we've known life. I'm not looking for the cessation of that. That's not the change that I'm looking for. I'm not looking to be transformed into some spirit being. No, I'm looking for the kingdom of heaven to be manifested on earth in physical form. That's what I believe is going to happen. I don't know when, and I do know that the only problem with the earth really is it has leadership that has no wisdom. Leadership that not only has no wisdom, but leadership that is psychopathic and sociopathic. When you want to destroy other people, you're not very wise. You're certainly not compassionate or loving. You're certainly not even, you can't even consider that intelligence. And they say, but Ron, the world is overpopulated, so they're doing a good thing. Bullshit, the world's overpopulated. It's not overpopulated. The world, if it was managed properly, could sustain 4 or 5 times more people than what are on it right now. This is, 7 billion people is nothing for a planet the size of Earth. It's nothing. Nothing. But we're going to have to change some things. We're going to have to clean up our act and get our act together. We're going to have to move in a different direction and have a different vision. We're going to have to let go of some things that are destructive, like the financial system that only enriches a handful of people at the expense of everyone else, where a few people get all of the, or virtually all of the value and all of the wealth, and only allow crumbs to trickle down to the masses, so that people are starving in the streets in some countries and in some areas of the world. Even in first world countries, there are people starving, there are people homeless, there are people without clean drinking water. And everywhere there are people breathing air that has been purposefully contaminated. Everywhere on the planet there are people that have to put up with contaminated food and contaminated energy fields, even where the energy fields are not in harmony with our natural resonance. We have to put up with that because of crazy people that don't think things through and resist change to the point where they actually destroy people's lives who try to bring positive change to humanity. These things have to end. And somewhere along the line, we're going to have to get the message that it's up to us. Yes, we're going to have extraterrestrial help. I believe that. Yes, the Andromedans and the Syrians and the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and visitors from other planets that have been visiting Earth forever. They're going to come more and more in contact with us. Why? Because there are many people on the planet that expect that to be the case. And our expectations are not going to be totally thwarted. The date is what thwarts us because we're caught up in time. But that's probably been messed with too, so that we don't even really know what time it is. And so we can't read the signs accurately because we don't know the time and the date. We don't know. And so it's coming because people are waking up. And I have people say, Ron, when I look around at people, people are still asleep. Yes, yes. Most people in most areas of the world, probably all areas of the world, most people are still asleep. Most people still don't get it spiritually. They still don't get it politically. They still don't get it. They still don't get it, what it's all about. They still don't understand the nature even of the problems that we face. They're totally unaware, totally apathetic. I get it. I get it. That's still the majority. But I also know that everywhere on this planet there are pockets of people that are hungry and hungering and thirsting for something different, that are very, very dissatisfied. And that dissatisfaction is the mother of invention. We're going to be finding the way. We're going to be drawing to ourselves the resources that we need. And those resources may be extraterrestrial resources. They may be natural resources. They may be human resources. But we're going to be drawing the resources that are necessary to bring the change about. And it's going to happen. And I hope it happens somewhat gradually. I hope it happens without a lot of cataclysm and bells and whistles, as I said in the blurb. I hope it happens peacefully. I want to see a peaceful transition between the old paradigm and the new paradigm. I don't want it to be too abrupt that causes too much disruption of people's lives. But there's going to be some, and for some people there's already been disruption. Disruption of lives has been a continuum that's been going on since the beginning. It's always happening to somebody somewhere where lives are disrupted. But the general society, the society as a whole, I'd like to see that have a peaceful transition between the old and the new. And I don't know what date it's going to be. I don't know for sure what year it's going to be. I do sense, as I've often said, that it's close. And one thing is certain, it's closer now than it's ever been before. That's an inevitable truth. It has to be closer. And there will be something that happens. There will be change. I promise you. There's always been change, and there's going to be major change because of the awakening, because of the shift of the ages that we are experiencing right now. It's upon us, and we're going through it together. Thank you for listening. Namaste.